Hail, Jim Alexander.
The J, the I, the M, the M, the Y, the J, the I, the M is Jimmy. It's Jimmy.
Hello, Jim.
Maddie, how's it going?
I'm good. How are you? How's your quarantine?
I was just going to ask you that. I'm like, well, it's pretty good. After watching that movie, I sure wouldn't want to be with those three girls, but otherwise...
You're like, it could be worse.
Yeah, apparently. How are you holding up? What are you doing to kind of stay occupied and getting through this?
I'm good. I'm currently sewing jacket pockets, so that's a pretty thrilling new development in my life. And I'm watching a lot of movies, mostly movies. I spend a lot of time on my phone, a shameful amount of time, and that's it. That's all that's happening.
Did you see Tiger King also, like everyone else?
Oh my God, I saw Tiger King the first day it was out. I am constantly on Netflix.
I'm halfway through, so I'm kind of spreading it out.
Oh, you're halfway through?
Yeah.
I won't ruin it for you.
One a day. That's how it keeps it still intriguing and something to look forward
healthy.
To. Yeah.
Wow, I've never been able to do one a day with anything in my life. Maybe I should talk to my therapist about that. I should get a therapist first, and then... Never mind. I'm going to figure this out after the phone call.
I think you're doing good. I mean, we're all needing a therapist or someone to figure out what to do with ourselves, these days. But as long as you're finding productive things, and sewing seems like something definitely productive.
Thank you. Thank you for the support.
Absolutely. Well, at least I had an enjoyable time watching your film. Wow, what a ride that was.
So glad.
I kept on thinking, how much fun are you guys having during this filming? Because there's some wacky, funny, creepy parts. It just seemed like it was a blast to film, really, with that crew, too. I mean, I've interviewed Kian before, and he's just such an awesome guy, and that cast was just tremendous.
Yeah.
Tell me your experience working on this film, because it seems to me, just by watching it, you guys had a blast together, but tell me what it was like, and what kind of appealed you to this script and film.
I've never had more fun shooting a film in my life.
Wow.
It was just this Twinkie, Red Bull, fake cigarette-fueled mania that we were all just trapped in for like a month. We woke up at 4 p.m. every day and worked from that time to 4 a.m. the next morning. And we were just always trying to wake each other up and keep each other wild and loose. And so there was a lot of yelling, I can remember. There's a lot of swearing. They know too much about my personal secrets at this point, because at 4 a.m., you're just like, here's all I have. You can have all of the information about me. So if you ever need to know a secret about me, go to Amy or Alexandra. So much fun.
That's awesome. I mean, where'd you guys film, too? Because it seemed like you kind of were, in a sense, you were on a location of a small town, whatnot, or kind of isolated. Where was it all taking place?
We were in this place that you probably won't know of, called Selkirk, Manitoba.
Oh, wow. Manitoba. Okay.
To give you a picture, they only had like a Walmart. There was a Boston's Pizza, I think I can remember. They had one movie theater. It had one screen. And then there was this little cafe that we really loved called Roxy's, I think, Uptown Cafe. But that was pretty much it in the town. And then the Best Western we were staying at, or I don't remember. I think it was Best Western. Anyway, but yeah, they didn't have. It was a very small town, so all we had was each other.
That helped you bond. That's probably what we're seeing on screen. This kind of chemistry that you guys all had.
We bonded so fast, so fast. We also shared one minivan as the car to take ourselves places on weekends. So when we needed to go somewhere, we'd all pile up in the minivan like a little family trip. It was really quite fun.
Any kind of, I'm sure you had a lot of memories, but anything kind of stands out to you? A bonding experience you had with the girls, or just in general with the cast? That's something that you did unique in such a tiny town?
Interesting. What's standing out to me? There was a day where we bought onesies, me and Amy and Alexandra, and we explored. They were like animal. I don't remember. They got me a unicorn one, which was sweet of them because they walked to the Walmart, obviously, because there's nothing else.
Right.
Together to get these onesies. I think Amy's was a cow, Alexandra's was, and we just explored the hotel together in them, and then wore them every day to set from that point forward, but took it very seriously, which was important to us, obviously. We took ourselves very seriously in those onesies, as one does.
That's awesome.
An animal onesie.
I'm sure the people at the hotel were like, what the hell is going on to our town right now? You know, you guys kind of infiltrating and just taking over.
They didn't know what hit them.
That's awesome.
They didn't know what hit them in Old Selkirk. We had such a fun time, and it's actually a pretty place.
That's really cool.
Once you get past, I mean, when you come from a place like LA or New York and you're used to having like everything, it's so overstimulating, you know. Usually in Los Angeles or New York, it's not so much right now. When you come from somewhere like that and you go to such a small town, you're like, whoa, okay, let me get used to having just a few things to go and do. It was quite nice in the end.
Oh yeah, it's a whole different change of habitat and lifestyle. I mean, kind of maybe prepared you for this quarantine in a sense, you know, to have little and make use of all things.
That's so funny.
You know, I wanted to ask you about the 80s feel of it. I love the lingo and some of the words and language you guys were using. I felt like I needed to like get a dictionary to see some of the 80s terms and stuff you guys were using. It just felt like you guys had the dress codes. You replicated an 80s feel as much as you could, probably. How was that? How fun was that with the clothes? I loved your outfit in the movie too. It just felt very 80s and had the vibe to it too and the look.
It was so fun. I really enjoyed the wardrobe. You know what's really funny is Val didn't really come together for me until I was half naked in a room with Amy and Alexandra. We were trying on fishnets and bangles and, you know, passing around clothing. So it was like the first day we met, too, like a couple of hours after we met, and we were basically, you know, in this wardrobe room having a makeshift sleepover where we played dress up together. It was very like typical teenage childhood sleepover for girls. But Val didn't really come together for me until I put on like a push-up bra and then like 2 pairs of cutlets and then another thing to like really strap them in and then like this bodysuit. And I was like, here's Val. There she is. There's our girl. It just needs to be really pushed up. And then it all made sense. It all came together from that point forward. I sort of went off on a tangent, but the 80s was fun. Also, the music was fun. I listened to Pour Some Sugar on Me every single day because it just really gave me a Val sense. Mm-hmm. It got me really into that mood. There's this line where he says, what's the line? He said, I'm hot and sticky sweet. And I would just try to imagine what it physically felt like to be hot and sticky. And it just felt very Val to me because she's always posing and using her sexuality as a weapon. And it felt very Val.
Totally, yeah. You definitely defined, all three of you defined definitely different characteristics and characters. It was like you were close friends in the story, but also each of you had a definitive kind of characteristic about you and persona too, which was cool to see that it wasn't all like they're like replicas of each other at all. They all had different style and personality, even look too. So that's why the wardrobe kind of was big because they all kind of looked different and yet fitting together.
Right, because there are these 3 girls thrown together by circumstance, really, not by a shared interest. I think they're all sort of lost, and that's what bonded them.
Mm-hmm. Anything in particular you learned about this movie, not even as like an actor, but even as a person, kind of from this experience, either on set or off set, that you kind of took away with going forward? I
think I learned more than ever how important it is to bond with the people that you're working with and how much it can change the finished product. because I don't think the movie would be nearly as fun if we, as a cast, all didn't have so much fun. Because we were trying things, and we were so loose, and we did so much improv, and I don't think it would have been that way if we didn't all really get on with each other. So I think it's important to make a huge effort to get to know who you're working with in any job, but especially in, my job, I think.
No question, because it shows up on, like I said, the first thing that really caught me was the chemistry, and it seems like the fun that you guys had together. If you didn't have that bond and that relationship, it would have been more isolated, and it wouldn't come through on screen. Especially in a movie like this, it's kind of ensemble, with not only one actor standing, but everyone kind of being, getting their due in this movie and their shine, and it really showed that way too. So I figure right away, you guys must have really hung out and had a good chemistry, because it comes through to a viewer.
Good. I'm so glad. Yeah, we did. We had so much fun. We all just went completely nuts for a month.
I wanted to ask you right away, I kind of did a little bit of research on you, looked you up. You're from Wilmington, North Carolina. I automatically think of Dawson's Creek. Dawson's Creek, that's where it's at, right?
I know, and One Tree Hill.
And One Tree Hill. There's two shows I grew up with. That's right. They were like synonymous. The Kevin Williamson shows, those teen shows, at least of my age. I'm 34, but that's where it was at. What was it like growing up there and then kind of making it to Hollywood? You obviously those shows probably gave a lot of credibility to this town to a worldwide audience. But what's it like growing up there and having kind of Hollywood aspirations and coming out to Hollywood? And I read something that you had your parents gave you a month to make it out there, which just seems like crazy, but you proved it. So tell me about your kind of growing up in Wilmington and your aspirations of Hollywood and being here, in the center of it now.
What's so funny is I didn't really connect at the time that I was so close to the business. Because I was so laser focused from the age of 15, to get to LA. Because I was like, that's where it's at. Well, actually 13, I remember breaking down on the porch of my house to my mom saying, I gotta get out of here, I gotta get out of this town. I had a real full teenage meltdown, as one does as a teenager. Because I was just so desperate to be where I thought I needed to be. Which, it ended up, it is where I needed to be, but I don't think I was focused, I don't think I connected the dots that I could have done it really in Wilmington. I did see Chad Michael Murray once in a Barnes & Noble when I was 13, and I was like, oh my God, I guess I'm going to marry Chad Michael Murray now, It didn't work out, obviously. It was a bummer for me at 13, but it's fine for me now. But yeah, it worked out in the end. I went out to LA. My mom gave me a month, so she was very nice to come with me when I was 16. And luckily, I got a job.
Wow.
And here we all are.
Unbelievable.
Val was born.
Unbelievable. A month in LA trying to make it, it's like telling to find a needle in a haystack or something, that's tough. But you made it happen. It seems like it was fate in that sense, because it all worked out and you had an ambition at a young age, and here you are.
Yeah, I don't think I realized how tough it was at the time because I just had no way of knowing that it would. I thought, okay, yeah, I can do that in a month. I was 16. I had no idea what I was getting into.
Wow.
So I think if I had, I would have been like, there would have been a lot more pressure. But I was like, okay, I'll just go to auditions and I'll get a job.
I wanted to finish off asking you, what are some of the hobbies and things you like to do? Obviously, acting's been a big part of your life and growing up, your aspiration. But what are some things you like to do to kind of get away from the industry, whether hobbies or passions or interests outside, another activity to keep you as an actual human being, so you can bring to your work? But what are some things you actually enjoy to do in life?
I watch a lot of reality TV.
Yes. What are you watching?
I think
Bachelor.
I think normal people. Oh my God, I watch them all. I watch them all. Okay. The Bachelor, Love Is Blind.
So good.
The Circle. There was this other one called Back with X that I watched.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you name it, I'll watch it. I'll watch it. The Desperate, what is it? The Real Housewives. New York and LA, or New York and Beverly Hills are my two ones that I watch. I don't watch them all, but those are my things. I mean, I can't watch serious, good movies as often as the average person because I get really emotionally invested and I find it draining. But yeah, once in a, those are more spaced out than the garbage that I watch. But I also watch nice movies. But it's like you know, it's mostly garbage. I'll be honest.
And nothing wrong with that. I enjoy myself, Bachelor and all that. As a single guy, some people think it's weird, but I embrace it. So I love all the dating shows and stuff, and actually auditioned for them too. So that's a whole other thing.
What? Oh
Yeah.
my God, do it.
Yeah, no, they've been calling me about Temptation Island and the next Love Is Blind. So I was like, why not?
Do it. Do Love Is Blind. Oh my God, I'm so happy for you.
I'll keep you updated if there's any news coming out of that. So
Please do. I'll be watching. I'll be waiting and I'll be watching.
thank you so much, Maddie, for taking the time to talk to me. Really fun movie. I enjoyed watching you and looking forward to seeing what's next for you because I feel like your career just kind of getting started in a lot of ways. So thanks for taking the time.
Thank you so much. It's been really nice.
Absolutely. Stay safe and keep on binging those reality shows.
You as well.
Take care. Talk soon.
Okay, bye.
Bye-bye.